I have no idea what the podcast is going to be called this week. We'll just wing it. 3, 2, 1. Today on the Hello, my friends, and welcome back to my show, It Says Podcast. I'll be discussing the YouTube Premium price increase and whether or not it's worth it, if good and great gear makes up all of the industry standard audio gear and other stuff too, so go ahead and stick around. We are starting with the YouTube news, and it was recently announced maybe a week and a half ago that YouTube Premium is increasing in price. I have seen a lot of people angry about this, but let's walk through what the new pricing is. Monthly for the individual, now it is going to be $13.99. For a family subscription, it is $22.99, and for a student, it is $7.99, not $79.99, $7.99. Prior to this, the monthly cost for an individual was $11.99, so it's increasing by $2. I have been a YouTube Premium member since 2016, 2017, whenever it rolled out. I am a very early adopter. It was YouTube Red, then YouTube Premium. I love it. I have even tried to start using YouTube Music a lot more, and I have to tell you, the algorithm is amazing. The mix for me is awesome. I am loving it. It is so nice to put that on because it has played me Smash Mouth Walking on the Sun pretty much every single time I hit play, and I forgot how incredible that song was. So the YouTube Music side of things, chef's kiss. But you know what I like? I like Excel. I like talking about finances, so I have an Excel spreadsheet to determine if strictly on the monetary side, if YouTube Premium is worth it. To do this, I watched 1 hour of YouTube on an account that does not have YouTube Premium. During that time, I got 13 ad breaks. I don't know how many videos I watched, maybe 20 or so. I scrolled around, I flipped around. 13 ad breaks. 12 of them were 5-second skippable ads. One of them was a 10-second skippable ad break. So in total, 60 seconds of advertisements and, right, is that 60 seconds? Maybe 65? I don't know. I should have done the math. But about 60 seconds of ads. And this is going to vary from person to person based on the content creator you're watching, based on how many videos you're clicking through. So in my spreadsheet, anecdotal data, for a 1 hour viewing session, I have 60 seconds of ads. Here I have the monthly cost of YouTube Premium at $13.99. This is not including tax. And then I am inputting an hourly wage, what you earn at your job. We are using that as our baseline to calculate the value of our time. You may think that's wrong. This is just the simplest way to go about it. Then I input how many hours of YouTube we are watching per day. For this example, let's say 1 hour of time, then 30 days per month. So in a 30-day period, if we're watching 1 hour of YouTube a day, 60 seconds of ad each day, that means we watch half an hour of advertisements. So then we get the dollar value of time saved by subscribing to YouTube Premium. To get that, we simply multiply the number of hours of ads that we are not watching against our hourly wage. So here it would be 0.5, half an hour, times $15. That gives us $7.50. So if that's how much YouTube we watch, if our hourly wage is $15, monetarily it doesn't make sense because we're saving $7.50 by paying $14. In order to make this make sense, we would need to earn a bit more, let's say $37 an hour. Now you would be saving $18.50 by not watching those ads. Or if you watch a heckload lot more YouTube, that was a poor sentence. If you watch 3 hours a day and you earn $15 an hour, you're saving $22 over the month. So based monetarily, you can make this work. I am still 100% going to be paying for it because monetarily for me, it still makes sense. But there's one thing this spreadsheet does not account for. That is the mental benefit you get from not suffering through ads. Now, for the hour that I was watching YouTube on an account without premium, I really wasn't bothered. It could be that I watch creators that don't flood their audience with advertisements. Maybe there are content creators out there. Well, I know there are content creators out there who are just rude as heck and shove as many ads into a video as they can. But based on the channels that I watched, I could live without premium, but I just enjoy not having ads. It is a mental benefit for me as well as a monetary benefit. So that's the one thing it doesn't account for, the actual mental benefit that you're gaining by not being advertised to in regards to water that makes you better or how to eat your vegetables or whatever. I don't know. I don't know what the ads are anymore because I don't look at them. I will link the YouTube Premium site in case you want to look at the rates. And to me, yes, it does suck. I have been paying $9.99 up until now. Because I signed up so early, I have never got a price increase. Now I am jumping up $4. I am still more than happy to pay that. Would I like to pay $10? Yes, I would love if I paid $10 because I'm seeing a 40% increase in price. Still worth it to me. But it still sucks. A 40% increase in price, hey, that's like my rent. So there you go. That is the news. I had to talk about that and discuss it because that is just, it's super interesting. I did this exact video, Is YouTube Premium Worth It? 7 years ago, maybe? It's a privated video now, but I created a spreadsheet determining if the monetary value gained from subscribing makes it worth it for you. Okay, that is it for the news. Let's talk about what I am testing. I am so excited to say I am on the Neumann U67 Reissue, and boy oh boy, I forgot how much I love this thing. Somebody asked me a question on the Podcastage Members Only podcast, and I threw it on the stand, and I said it's set up. I'm not taking it down. I am running it into the Universal Audio LA610 Mark II, getting a touch of compression, and that is running into the Universal Audio X8. The pop filter is the Hakan P110, and I'm doing something funny with it because I couldn't get the pop filter to stay exactly in place, so I pulled out one of the zip ties that I have a bag of zip ties that came on cables that I've bought, and I have it wrapped around the little metal thing on the pop filter, and I tied it to the U67 shock mount so it stays in front of the microphone. Clever, and it's free. I just called myself clever. I hate myself. Okay, let's talk about what you had to say. The first comment comes from Certified Don DeLover 9476. They say, would you agree that most of the good/great equipment is the industry standard stuff? Well, Don DeLover Certified Niner 4276, thank you very much for the question. For the most part, I agree with you. I don't necessarily agree with the exact wording because you say, do I agree that most of the good or great equipment is the industry standard stuff? I don't think that all good or great equipment is industry standard stuff, but what I agree with is pretty much all industry standard stuff is going to be good, if not great. The reason I am phrasing it that way is I find it impossible to imagine a world where something has massive adoption, massive market penetration for a long period of time if it is a bad product. If something has an initial market penetration that is massive, that sounds so... If a lot of people adopt a new product, that's the start of something, but if it sucks, it's not going to stick around. People will get it, they will realize this product is trash, and they will not recommend it to anybody. So it will have that initial adoption, but that adoption will fall off. So the product needs to have that popularity, but then it needs to deliver on its promises. It can't just be popular for the sake of being popular. It needs to be popular because it is a good product. So I don't think all good or great equipment is an industry standard, but all industry standard gear is good or great. The reason I am making that distinction is there's a lot of great stuff that I don't think has met the requirements to be an industry standard. It may be a great product, but I don't think it has the popularity or the life required to become an industry standard yet. We'll be testing one of those very shortly, the Austrian Audio OC818. That's a few years old at this point. I labeled it an instant classic because I think it sounds so good. But it's only been around 4 or 5 years. I don't think it's as popular as it should be. But as time goes on, as more and more people discover it, use it, find out that it's great, and see that it does last a long time, then they'll understand, oh, that $1,250 is a great investment in that microphone. The SE Electronics V7, the handheld dynamic. I don't think that is an industry standard microphone yet, but it is a great product. And as more people discover it, realize, wow, for $100, this is just insane how good it sounds and how well it performs, more and more people will adopt it. And then maybe we'll see it compete directly with, in terms of numbers I'm talking, it will compete directly with something like the SM58, the Sennheiser E835, and the like, those microphones that have been around for decades. So I think that is why that distinction needs to be made. Something else that I want to talk about, because something I see in a lot of areas, in audio gear, in clothing, in watches, in everyday carry, there's this mentality. Popular is bad. If it's popular, it's trash. I hate it. It sucks. And I kind of understand that because I grew up listening to punk music, so as soon as a band got popular, they sucked. So I get that mentality. But I have grown up, I have matured, and I realize that is a childish way to look at things, and it's stupid. Because many times, there is wisdom in the mass. There is wisdom in that popularity. It's very rare that something gets incredibly popular and that thing that got popular sucks. The reason that Levi's jeans are so popular is because they're durable, they look good, they're relatively affordable. Why do people use Bic pens? Because they're affordable and they write well. Why do people use Fender Stratocasters? They're great guitars. That level of popularity doesn't happen because something sucks. The Blue Yeti got popular because at the time it was amazing the sound you got out of it for the price. It was one of the first USB microphones that sounded pretty dang good, and it offered a lot of polar patterns, something that other USB mics did not offer. Even if you compare the Blue against another Blue microphone, the Blue Yeti against the Blue Snowball, the Yeti is mind-boggling how good it sounds compared to the Snowball. The Snowball sounds terrible in comparison. So that is a very rare situation because popular doesn't mean bad, but popular simultaneously does not mean good. Nowadays, the Blue Yeti, I think, has been bested by microphones the same price or at a lower price. You're paying for features that are not necessary. You could save a few bucks or get a mic that sounds better. The Snowball, on the other hand, I think has almost zero redeeming quality. That is a microphone that should have died probably in 2011. It has been overtaken. I am still embarrassed. I think I was very favorable to it in 2015. I was still learning about all the USB mics. I should probably take that down, but it is not a great sounding microphone. It has far been bested. The Razer Siren Mini, like $30, $40, sounds so much better, and it has the exact same functionality. Just a USB plug-and-play microphone, no headphone port, nothing. But it sounds so much better. The Samson Q2U sounds so much better. So popular does not equal bad. A lot of time, there is wisdom in popularity. But just because something is popular, like I said, doesn't mean it's good. Look at 2000s Abercrombie and Fitch. The clothing was incredibly popular, but was it good? No. Oh, I'm going to wear a massive billboard of Abercrombie and Fitch. But let me tell you, I'm going to get flack for this. 2023 Abercrombie and Fitch, amazing. When their soft pocket tees go on sale for like 10 or 12 bucks, holy smokes, they are incredible. Doesn't have any massive branding, comfortable, affordable, so tight. So tight. Okay, that's my rant. Popular isn't good, but popular is not bad. Did I say that right? Popular does not mean something is bad, and popular simultaneously does not mean something's good. There you go. Thank you very much, Chaser of the Love Dan Man. What? I forgot what your username was. Let's go to the next comment from Andrew Masters. He says, this channel was just recommended and WTF, there's 4 years of videos here? I thought the algorithm knew me better. Andrew Masters, thank you very much for the comment. Yes, there are 4 years of videos on this channel. I have been making this podcast since 2015, 2016. First, I made the first 8 episodes disappear, and now I think the first 124 episodes are lost to the ether. Everything that's on this channel is here. It's available. Still embarrassing, but yes, many years of videos are here. And I had to include this because if you do not follow Andrew Masters on YouTube, go follow him. He is an amazing audio YouTuber. His studio tour series is absolutely bonkers. He did a tour of, Ray Park, I think his name is. The guy who did the Ghostbusters theme. I loved his studio tour. And Andrew Masters, talking about studio tours, his home studio is one of the craziest I've ever seen, maybe second to somebody like Rhett Scholl, who his studio, I don't get how these people have studios like this. It is absolutely bonkers, but it's their living. It's their livelihood, so it makes sense. So if you don't follow Andrew Masters on YouTube, go follow him. He has a wealth of knowledge, and his channel is fantastic. Thank you for watching a video, Andrew. I don't know if you're going to continue watching or not, but I appreciate everything you do for the audio community. You are amazing, good sir. Now let's jump to my favorite part of the show, the Ask Bandrew segment. All right, welcome to the Ask Bandrew segment, the segment where you ask me, Bandrew, and I attempt to answer you. If you have any questions, go to askbandrew.com, askbandrew.com, askbandrew.com. There are instructions on how to send in audio, video, and text. I do prefer audio and video because then I don't have to read, and that makes my life easier, it makes your life better, and everybody else has a better life too because they get to hear how you sound on your equipment, and that is just a blast. That is just a ton of fun. The first submission comes from Vaughn, and it is an audio submission, so take it away, Vaughn.
Hey, what's going on, Bandrew? My name is Vaughn from Toronto, Ontario. Shout out to all the Canada boys that are listening. I've been listening to your podcast for maybe a couple of months, maybe 9 months, 10 months, and all that good stuff. I actually just got into it because I really just enjoyed you as a person with your mic reviews. It was very, very educational. It definitely helped me get a leg up in my retail pursuits. I was actually working in a music store that shall not be named, and it definitely helps me become more educated when it comes to microphones and recording gear and all that good stuff. So I really appreciate you putting out the content that you do. Now, in regards to the I guess your comments in regards to nihilism and kind of going down the doom scrolling rabbit hole of YouTube or Reddit or any form of social media, definitely I feel like it's a balancing act more than anything else. I don't necessarily think that the world is sunshine and rainbows because realistically speaking, there's just a lot of things that really like are designed to kind of keep people down or keep people in boxes and keep people kind of like not knowing. I feel like we, at least as a society, well, there it is. We really have to fight for to know certain things, to be educated on certain things. So I guess it's not the most welcoming place, but at the same time, it's not negative. It's not a completely negative place. There are definitely like beautiful things that we can see. You know, beautiful sights, experiences, new foods, all that stuff. New music. Music's probably like my vice. But I don't know. I feel like there needs to be a healthy balance, because you can't have good without the bad. The world isn't completely good, but it's not completely bad. I guess it really just depends on I don't know, on what your circle is like. I can definitely speak from experience when saying that a healthy mindset, a good mindset, can definitely turn the tides when it comes to looking at the world. So, yeah, I think that's about it. Oh, and also, if you are curious, I'm actually speaking into an SM7B, and I am using a Volt 476. But yeah, thank you so much, Vaughn from Toronto. Have a good one, man. And thank you so much for your educational content. It means a lot.
Vaughn, thank you very much for the voice submission. I really do appreciate it. And I also appreciate you sharing your thoughts and opinions about nihilism and doom scrolling and social media and how you cope with that. For the most part, I think you're exactly right. I am not denying that there are a lot of forces out there that are designed to keep people down. I'm not denying that there is a lot of bad, there is a lot of negative, there is a lot of evil in the world. There is a lot of good as well, but there is a lot of evil in the world. I'm also not denying that there are algorithms on the websites that we use that are designed to keep us on platform for as long as possible. The way that's achieved most easily is to make the individual angry or mad. Angry or mad, that's the same thing. Angry or scared. When you're scared, you're going to stay on platform looking for comfort, looking for answers. When you're angry, you're going to want to yell at people online. That's how they manipulate you to keep you on platform for longer so that you will watch more ads, because that's the bottom line for them. My stance is not that none of that exists. I admit, all of that negative stuff exists 100%. I'm also not saying be ill-informed about everything going on in the world. My stance is more along the lines of, what good does it do you to be informed of everything going on in the world while allowing that information to have a negative impact on your day-to-day mental health? While allowing that information to make you miserable? While allowing that information to make you hate people around you? I don't think that does any good. In my perspective, being on social media all day, scrolling and reading all the negative information while allowing that information to impact your mental well-being accomplishes two things. Number one, it earns these companies a lot more money because you're looking at more ads, and that gives them a bigger bottom line. And number two, it stresses you out and makes you miserable. So it's probably going to put you in an earlier grave, because as your stress rises, as your blood pressure rises, that is incredibly unhealthy. That's all that I think it accomplishes. Most of the negative stuff that we read about online has minimal to no impact on our day-to-day life. And I am speaking from personal experience here, because I allowed social media, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, all of it to impact me way too deeply. I got way too wound up in 2020, 2021, 2022. I became a very negative person. I became a miserable person. I was mean to people who did nothing wrong to me. I just took out my anger on them. That is what I allowed these sites to do, these algorithms to do. If you have the mental fortitude to avoid that, and it doesn't impact your day-to-day well-being, more power to you. I don't have that. If I am reading all the negative news in the world, it is going to impact me. It is going to make me an angry person. It is going to make me a scared person. It is going to make me a mean person. So that is why I advocate against doom scrolling and staying up to date on every single thing going on in the world, because it doesn't have a positive impact on most people's lives. On top of that, there is very little to nothing that most of us who were staying that informed could do to change any of it. So instead of wasting all of that mental energy, wasting all that emotional energy on nonsense that I have no impact on and has no impact on me, I started focusing on my family and my friends and the stuff that goes on around me in my local community. What can I do to improve this issue or that issue? Is there something I can do to help a family member or a friend? I focus on that because that is stuff that is within my control. And that was the big light bulb moment for me. That was the big life-changing realization for me. I should only allow stuff that is within my control, stuff that I can actually influence. I should only allow that stuff to impact my mental well-being. I should only allow that stuff to impact my day-to-day mood, because why am I really going to worry about what's going on in a different state, in a different country? Yes, there may be instances where there's a tragedy where you might be able to contribute and help. I'm not saying don't do that. I'm not saying be heartless. I am just saying take a step back and look at the bigger picture. And in most cases, for most people, the bigger picture is I need to take care of those around me. I need to focus on making sure that people around me that I love are taken care of. I need to make sure that the community that I am living within, the city that I'm living within, the state that I'm living within is doing the best that it can, because that's where I can actually have an impact. I can impact the people that I walk by every single day. I can be kind to people and say, "Hi, how are you doing?" That's an impact for a lot of people. I can give to local charities because that is much more likely to have a big impact than that money going to the federal government. Not going to go down that road, but I think you get my point. It's not be heartless. It's not be ill-informed. It is don't allow this widening scope that we're expected to adopt to ruin your life, to ruin your mindset, to ruin your day-to-day well-being, to ruin your mental health. Because I see a lot of people, and maybe it's wrong for me to look at other people and assume what's going on, but looking at what people behave like on social media, to me it seems like a lot of people have fallen into that trap. A lot of people have lost a lot of perspective and probably lost a lot in their personal lives as well because of it. And I think it's healthy to take a step back. As you say, music is a big part of your life. I know this is just a diatribe, but as you say, music is a big part of your life. For me, it's the exact same thing. Music is a big part of my life, and this year, I have really been trying to reconnect to music because I kind of lost that for a while. So now on Fridays, I go for walks and I just listen to music. And I have to tell you, a couple of days ago, I went for a walk. I was just listening to some Apple Music summer barbecue playlist. And I don't know if I felt that content in a long time. I was walking on the pavement. I was looking up on part of the sky. It was just bright blue. And then I saw storm clouds rolling in, and I just had a stupid smirk on my face. I just felt content and happy and at peace. And by avoiding so much of the negativity on the internet, I was able to feel that. A couple of years ago, I never would have felt that because I would have been wound up the entire time. I would have been listening to some nonsense politics in my headphones. I would have been looking around thinking, oh gosh, I bet all these people disagree with me and I bet they suck. I don't care anymore. I don't care if somebody disagrees with me. That's fine. That's what makes the world work. That's fine. And that's what I think it's all about, trying to live the best life that you can. And when it comes down to it, I think that's what the vast majority of people are trying to do, live the best life that they can. And unfortunately, a lot of people have had their minds hijacked. They have been brainwashed. Their amygdalas are the size of grapefruits because they spend so much time on social media. I don't normally recommend other podcasts, but a podcast that really helped me is No Agenda. People will say they are a conservative podcast. I don't agree. What helped me about their show is their deconstruction of the news narratives. Their deconstruction made me realize, oh my gosh, these people who are presenting news have no idea what they're talking about, and they are trying to wind us all up and make us furious and make us scared, because what does that do? What did I tell you it makes you do? Makes you want to watch more. That show helped me a lot. So I stay informed because I will listen to them. Do I agree with everything? No. But they keep me sane. They have kept me sane. That's the show that helped me do it, and I am much more at peace. My amygdala is the size of a little pea. Little pea now. All right. I hope there was some value in there, Vaughn. Thank you so much for your voice submission. I appreciate you. Next, we have a video submission from Boromir. Take it away, Boromir.
Greetings, Citizen Bandrew. I have a question about microphones, and in particular, low self-noise microphones. Because while close miking may and can and is often fun for plenty of less or more artistic reasons, miking yourself up from a slightly greater distance, like this, or even greater than that, like the one that I used at the beginning of this video presentation admission question form, is nice. It provides you with more space. It can be useful in many applications, but it can be a little bit problematic if you do not have a microphone with adequately low self-noise to it. Because then you kind of have to employ some additional magic of filtering, cleaning up, noise gating, things that I usually, whenever I can, prefer to avoid. And to demonstrate what I'm talking about again, I am right now recording from the distance of about an outstretched arm, so kind of half a meter or a little bit more than a foot, an American foot. Yes, and it should still be sounding kind of fine. Last time I checked, it sounded serviceable, like maybe not as great as when I had it like at this kind of distance, but it should still be fine, it should still be okay, without much in the way of any hiss in the background, I believe. Like, there shouldn't be much in the way of any kind of sounds in the studio right now. It's somewhat quiet. Not like super perfectly quiet, but quite quiet. And this affinity towards low self-noise microphones has recently led me to consider experimenting with something like AKG 414 XLS or Austrian Audio OC818. I believe that's how most people say that. Yeah. Yes, and that's where my actual question comes in. The 818 has some advancements in technology, and it also has advancements in, apparently, in terms of self-noise. It seems to have 9 decibels of self-noise compared to AKG 414. Question is, can you actually notice that? And another question, if money is not the issue because 818 costs a little bit more than 414, is there any practical reason, would you say, to acquiring the 414 over the 818 nowadays? Yeah, I was trying to make it as brief as I could, and I think I still failed. Anyway, thank you for your show, thank you for the opportunity to ask you questions, and see ya.
Boromir, thank you very much for the video submission. I really do appreciate it. In order to answer your questions, I have 2 microphones set up, and that is what you're listening to. Microphone 1, AKG C414XLS. Microphone 2, Austrian Audio OC818 or 818 or 810+8. Both are on cardioid polar pattern. Both have no filters and no pads engaged, and both are running into the Focusrite 18i22nd Gen. 414 is set at about 245 or 3 on the gain, and the C414 is 3 or 315 on the gain dial. Your first question is, can you hear the slightly higher self-noise of the OC818 when compared to the C414XLS? For reference, the C414 has a self-noise of 6 dBA, the OC818 has a self-noise of 9 dBA. So to answer your question, I will shut up and let you hear the self noise or the noise floor of the 414 and the 818, and you determine if you can hear the difference or if the ambient noise of the room is so loud that the difference of 3 dBA in the self noise is negligible. Did I give away the answer? Here are the sound samples. Getting loud in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now we're back at the regular volume, and what did you hear? Did you hear a difference in the self-noise, in the hiss, in the background of the recording, or was the air conditioning units around here and the ambient noise of the room so much louder in comparison to the self-noise that 3 dBA difference was negligible? In order to hear it better, I am going to play you those exact same samples, but boost the audio 24 dB in post, so let's hear that now. Again in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There you go. Those are the samples I'm going to provide you to help you determine if the 3 dBA difference really is a big deal, or if the air conditioners that are nearby and just the general ambient sound in your room, the traffic noise outdoor, is going to be the more noticeable noise that you can focus on attenuating in your recordings. Then you ask a second question: why would I pick the Austrian Audio OC818 over the AKG 400 plus 10 plus 4? There are a number of reasons for that, a number of features that the Austrian Audio has that the AKG lack, but first I want to address the pricing of these. You mentioned that the AKG is a bit more affordable, but here in the States, as of the 30th of July 2023, it is the inverse. The C414 XLS is $1,320. Austrian Audio is $1,250. So the AKG is $70 more expensive than the Austrian Audio. Then as far as the features that the AA has that the AKG doesn't, a lot of that stems from the dual capsule output. So you have the XLR port on the bottom and the XLR on the rear. That allows you to capture the front and the rear capsule. You could do a stereo recording, which would be helpful. You could do a mid-side, but it's actually stereo with different sound sources as opposed to a figure 8. I haven't tried that. That would be interesting, actually. But also, since you're outputting both capsules, you can record both of those into your DAW, and using the Austrian Audio plugin, I think it's called Polar Pattern Designer, you can adjust the polar pattern in post. So if you record in cardioid, it doesn't matter because you're outputting both capsules. You can change that to omni, to figure 8, to supercardioid, to hypercardioid, whatever you want. And then it gets even crazier because you have the ability to adjust the polar pattern of frequency ranges in that plugin. You could have omni in the bass frequencies to avoid proximity, then have a supercardioid in the mids to get it really directional, and then you could do a standard cardioid in the treble frequencies. Whatever you want, you have that functionality. The AKG 414 doesn't have any of that. Single XLR output with the polar pattern set on the microphone. And the final feature for the AA is a Bluetooth controller that does take up the mini XLR output on the rear, but if you have these microphones set up high in a room to function as room microphones, you can control the polar pattern, the pad, the filter through a Bluetooth app on your phone and not be required to go grab a ladder, get up there, and change it on the mic. And the final reason why you would pick the Austrian Audio OC818 over the 414 is probably the most important if you just like how it sounds over the C414. I am not able to tell you right now because I am monitoring both of them simultaneously, but if I am remembering correctly, the AKG stuff is a little bit grittier, a little bit less smooth up top. The OC818 is a really sweet sounding microphone. The top end is a little bit softer. It's still detailed, it's still bright, it still captures that information, but it just handles it really well. I am certainly not sweating, I am just moping and concerned because the battery in my camera just died and I don't know if the footage gets saved when that happens, so we'll see what happens because I am not going to re-record. But there you go, those are all the samples that I'm going to give you. That should have given you plenty of time to determine if the 3 dBA delta in self-noise is really going to make a difference for you. I will have been switching back and forth between the AKG and the Austrian audio this entire time, so you can also hear which one you like the sound of best. That is going to differ from voice to voice as well, but hopefully there was some useful information in there, and hopefully that helped you make a more informed purchasing decision. All right, that is it for this week's episode. I appreciate you coming by and sticking with me through this weird new angle because I didn't want all the reflections off of my desk, because I certainly didn't record this sample already and realize, oh, that's too much reverb. Nope, wasn't me. I didn't do that. I would never. Thank you so much for coming by. I hope we have an amazing Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Next Sunday, I will talk at you, with you, and about you. Oh my gosh, did you hear what that one person did? Oh yeah, I did. I totally did. Oh God, how embarrassing. Yeah, I'll talk about you. Thank you so much. I love you. You're an amazing human being. Talk to you next week. Bye-bye. Whoa. Boop. Boop.
This has been a Geeks Rising production. Your executive producer is Bandrew Scott. For more information, head over to www.geeksrising.com.